Hey everyone, Sonic Healy Gang here. Welcome back to the weekly recap. This week, we deal with the aftermath of Jason being taken by the WSB, Marco's murder, and Cullum's shooting. Along the way, even more secrets are exposed. Let's get into it. But, before we do, like and subscribe, or I'll make an inappropriate appearance at your funeral. Picking up where we left off, Jocelyn does not kill Cullum. That freak lives to see another day. He opens his eyes to see Kim Possible, but he doesn't actually do anything. Joss is actually stopped by Lucas, who's very confused as to why Joss is there. Joss says she's only there to see the man Jason is alleged of shooting, and Lucas doesn't pursue it any further. He's too grief-stricken over Marco still. The two bond over their shared trauma, both of them losing a lover to a murderer. Jocelyn can sense that Lucas is in a really bad mental state and is close to making a massive mistake. Obviously, seeing that Lucas is in the same spot she was in when Dex died, and knowing her terrible choices she made then have wrecked her life, and not wanting her uncle to go down a similar path. And so Jocelyn leaves. She says that Cullum dying would make things worse for Jason. I guess she just wasn't considering that before? I don't know. Joss is not very good at all this. Anyways, Cullum is home free. Lucas goes off to Britt's office next. Both of them are a mess. He needs a shoulder to cry on, and these two are friend-ish. But really, I think we can level them up to regular friends after this conversation. Britt tries to take responsibility for Marco dying, but Lucas says that while they did it for her, Lucas was the one that got himself and Marco involved. Lucas forcing Marco to steal the meds if he wanted to stay with him. Then together, these two are able to work out that it was Cullum who killed Marco, since he read Marco's phone to know that Britt was at the pier. This was a great scene. Van Hansis, who plays Lucas, has been doing incredible work with this story, and this scene where he pretty much has a full-blown panic attack at the realization that instead of being at Marco's side while he was dying, he was saving the life of his killer, was an incredible performance. He has been a real standout, and that is why he is the recipient of this week's prestigious Healy Gang Performer of the Week award. Congratulations. Lucas again has a scary look in his eyes. He leaves Britt's office. Britt ends up calling Brad. Brad comes in celebrating Jason being arrested, to which Britt slaps the shit out of him. Britt then enlists his help. Britt knows that since Jason was telling her to lie to the police to implicate him, he must be protecting someone, and that someone has to be whoever really shot Cullum. They search the pier for any overlooked clues. However, they don't find anything. And Brad reasons that this is the opposite of what Jason would want. He chose this path for himself, and that maybe the only thing Britt can do for him is respect that. Meeting back up with Lucas, he has gone back to Windermere to see Sidwell, ignoring the advice given to him to not do anything reckless. Sidwell is happy to see Lucas and invites him to continue living there so that he may feel close to Marco and they could share memories of him. Lucas accepts, but he clearly has an ulterior motive. Somehow, some way, Lucas plans to make sure Marco's death is not in vain. And then, Pascal came in really drunk and started harassing Lucas. I guess he really did want him some Marco. Actually, really good scene here, but you're the reason he's dead, bro. Leave Lucas alone. While all this has been going on, Sidwell was pulling every resource he had to get the scoop on what information the police had on Marco's death. More specifically, he really wants evidence that ties Sonny to it. He talked to Jordan and then to his mole inside the PCPD. The one we heard about before that fed him the information on Drew's shooting, which led to him piecing together that Willow was the culprit. It is revealed that in fact this mole was NAYthan, and that this makes sense because in fact this man is not NAYthan. His name is Cassius Faison, the fourth child of Cesar Faison that Britt had previously let slip about. So we were all right. NAYthan is not NAYthan. He is not thin. And that is what I plan on calling him, because I'm not calling him Cassius or Cassius, whatever. What kind of damn name is that? This reveal was, I think we all saw that one coming. He just never really felt like the real NAYthan. So this was all set up from the beginning. He even knew about Maxie being poisoned. We don't get much background information about him here. We don't know if he's an identical twin of NAYthan, or maybe he's wearing a mask. If he is a twin, we have no idea what led to him being separated, what his childhood was like, what led him to where he is now, and why nobody but Britt has ever referred to him, including Liesel, who would be his mom. We know he carries the Faison last name, however, the only of Faison's kids that does. So perhaps he was raised by Faison himself? At this point it's only speculation though. What is interesting is he is not telling Sidwell that Rocco shot Cullum. He's keeping that information close to his chest and not telling his boss. So could it be that he has really gone cuckoo for Lulu? It's possible. Now, for something completely different. Last week, Brooklyn and Chase's interview to become Phoebe's foster parents was interrupted by Wiley asking them what a hooker is, because Olivia can't keep her damn trap shut. That was funny. So they handle that, whatever. I'm only talking about this because Michael Corinthos the third is here. So he asks them, hey, what's going on? Totally no-selling the fact that Chase tried to put him in prison. Okay. And they give him a little lip about the whole thing, so he offers to help them. Yes, he offers to help the man that tried to put him in prison. Alright. Michael offers to make a few phone calls to get some influential people to vouch for them. But he then remembers that his ex-wife, Willow, is a congresswoman now. And obviously, Willow owes Chase a pretty huge favor. So, Michael earnestly advises them that she would probably be the strongest endorsement they could get. Chase, of course, is over the moon that he gets to talk to his beloved Willow again. Cut to the next day and Michael is coming back from a run. BLQ is in the kitchen and there is a pitcher of orange juice on the table. Michael asks if he can have some juice, as she purposely takes the juice right in front of him and pours it all for herself. This is disgusting. How much more betrayal can Michael take? Brooklyn is all mad because Michael suggested that they talk to Willow, because it puts Chase back in Willow's orbit. Frankly, Brooklyn, that's not Michael's fucking problem. If you have a problem with your husband, and stay with me here, I believe that you should talk to your husband about it. God. But is that what Michael tells her? No. He apologizes and gives her this big explanation about his reasoning, and he gives her a pep talk. Okay. Do y'all mind if I rant for a minute? Just... what the fuck are we doing here? What is this writing? Why is Michael such a pussy? What happened? I want to say that the vast majority of the audience has been really enjoying the new Michael and the change in the direction of his character that has come with him. I think that's fair to say. And that direction was a somewhat darker one. Albeit not dark enough in my opinion, but we were on the right path at least. So, what went wrong in the writer's room? Why on earth have we suddenly not just gone backwards? We turned him into fucking Mr. Rogers, a Teletubby, a Care Bear, SpongeBob SquarePants. Old Michael wasn't even this much of a bitch. He wouldn't have even taken this shit. I feel bad about complaining about the writing for my favorite, who I make no effort to hide as Michael, who gets admittedly a good amount of screen time, but it's still not enough for me. And other characters 100% get written a lot worse. But this is my show, so I'm going to complain about it. And I don't care about those characters, I care about Michael. All of this to say, Michael seemingly forgiving Chase and just being cool living in the same house as him, and not trying to eviscerate his life piece by piece as a Quartermain ought to do, is sickening to me. And God, it's hard to come up with words for how stupid that is. This man tried to ruin his life. No matter what way you slice it, Chase has tried to ruin Michael's life and has been an extreme nuisance for him. How has there not been severe retaliation thrown his way? How? A few punches does not cut it. Why is he able to not just stand in the same room as this guy, but offer him a favor? And yes, you can say he's doing it for Brooklyn, but that is the Brooklyn who has barely made any kind of effort to rein in her husband, to stop him from betraying her family, who has stood beside him this entire time. He should rightfully be pissed at her, by extension of Chase. I don't think it's crazy to say she's guilty by association. He doesn't have to target her, but he can say he doesn't want anything to do with her while her husband is actively threatening to take his entire life away from him, and that he doesn't want to associate with her because she is loyal to him. And that just is what it is. I'm not saying she's wrong for being loyal to her husband either. Sometimes there is no perfect right or wrong. What I am trying to say here is that ever since the start of Willow's trial, I want to say, we have witnessed a reset of Michael's character to being the bigger person all the time, to being kind and nice and forgiving to people who really don't deserve it. They've made him a bit more like the old Michael, and I am here begging you, please don't do that. Do not go backwards with his character. That would be a terrible mistake. A terrible mistake. Because that Michael was a B+ player. That wasn't the character I and so many others fell in love with the past year. And I would argue that given everything he went through, it doesn't make sense for him to revert back to being nice guy Michael. Especially not when he's still under threat. He should not be this guy who goes around fucking apologizing for everything. Let him be messy, let him be petty, and yes, by God, let him be dark. Watching him bend over backwards for approval is the opposite of fun. I want to see him get in people's faces. But more than that, I want him to be a dirty, vile schemer. And I know you still know how to write him because there's glimpses of it that peek through every now and then. We see it in a scene I'm going to talk about that happened this week. But then, by the next time he's on screen, it's all vanished like it never happened. It is so frustrating. Save the sweet Michael for his kids and the rare family member that actually has his back. Not Chase. I'll go as far as to say that he was way too nice to Olivia too. And that's just in the past 2 weeks. This is not as hard as you are making it look. And I do lay this fully on the creative team because, I'll be frank, I don't think Rory can do any wrong. And it is not because he's hot, okay? There's a lot of very attractive actors on this show, and some of them are very mediocre. In conclusion, please stop writing my favorite to be boring and lame. As a famous punk once said, I think you're either dumb as fuck and you suck, or you're doing it on purpose. Okay, rant over. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Kai and Trina revealed themselves to Willow this week that they were in Drew's house the night of the shooting. This was silly, honestly. So contrived. First, Trina is in Willow's house with Kai to give Drew socks. I'm not kidding. They hear Wiley calling Willow while they were here. Okay, tangent time. This was because Wiley wanted Michael to let Willow come kiting with them, and Michael allows it. Willow doesn't pick up the call though, and Michael says, "Oh, sorry, buddy." And randomly, Wiley is like, "No, you aren't. You guys fight all the time. You hate mommy." Which, I just wanted to mention this scene because, I mean, he's not wrong, but like, who the fuck told you that? They have never fought in front of him. Hell, much to my chagrin, they won't even fight in front of us. How did you know that? You can't know that, young man. Who told you that? Did a clown tell you that? Tangent over. I said all this to say that Trina hears Wiley's ringtone and says, "Oh, Wiley is calling you," giving away that Wiley's ringtone is seared into her mind. Okay, I can accept a little slip up like that. But then, Kai is like, "Oh, noises from the living room really carry into the bedroom." Absolutely not normal human dialogue. Like, dude, you might as well spell it out in neon lights that you know. But wait, they pretty much do that. After they leave, Willow is monologuing to Drew like a crazy woman, being like, "Wait a minute, how did those kids know all that? They couldn't have been here that night, could they?" Then she leaves to go to her office, and Kai and Trina are in her office talking about seeing her do it. Oh my fucking god, bruh. Why even drop little hints about it at that point, man? Whatever. I guess we'll see what happens with that next. Trina and Kai may be in serious danger. Probably Kai mostly, just because he's more expendable. While that was happening though, Michael went to Willow's house. Oh my. Don't get too excited. Willow was obviously not there, and does not come home at any point while he's there. It upset me an unreasonable amount that they didn't share any scenes this week. Like, he's in her house. He was in her office too. Give me a damn scene with them, come on. But this scene was good. Nina was there, and Michael and Nina's scenes just by standard are good. Drew is also there, the first time Michael has seen Drew post-paralysis. I'm mentioning this though because this was it. This was Michael. This is how he should be. This was that suave, sexy confidence. Him taunting Drew was awesome and unexpected because, goddamn, everyone has been like, oh my god, I feel so sorry for him. Man, fuck that. The only thing I'm sorry about is that he's still breathing. No notes on this scene though. It was great. And all I'm saying is that Michael shouldn't only be this way around Nina, Drew, and Willow. Don't pigeonhole him like that. He should have this energy with a lot more people. And for the main event this week, we have Marco's funeral. Sonny and Rick came to it. That's all I really got to say about that. They were there. Sidwell was pissed about it because, like, obviously that was a terrible idea. I think the most newsworthy thing that happened here was that Rick walked into a church and didn't burst into flames. Christina was there and saw him with her dad, though. That had to be frightening. I believe the first time they crossed paths since the basement incident. I could be wrong, though. But this was very obviously just a big cliffhanger for next week. They didn't even show a single thing from the actual service. That was jarring to me. They could have had Lucas give a eulogy or something, but no. Instead, Lucy tried to sell him a house at a funeral. Jesus. So that's really all I've got to say about that. To be continued. That will be all for this video too. I'm really bad at outros, but thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you all have a nice day. Happy Easter.